Okay, here we are, Monday night, first of our accountability calls after Ambition 2016. We had a fantastic purge call last night with Christy Taylor, and this is our first accountability call. I'm very excited to hear how things went because I think we had some very good prospects to be talking to this week. So first of all, I wanted to introduce, again, fast-track promoter to RC, Christy Taylor. Are you on the line?
I am.
Fantastic. How was your day today? Did you have before we get into the nitty-gritty, did you have a lovely Labor Day?
We did. We were out by the pool most of the day, so it was fantastic.
Sounds good to me. All right, so let's dive straight on in. How did things go today?
Today, I called the first two on my list that we discussed last night, Catherine and Candace. And Catherine has set an appointment to have coffee tomorrow, and the conversation went pretty well as you directed. We saw each other for a little while this morning. Our children were playing together, and right as I was leaving, I said, hey, I really want to show you this opportunity. Can we get together tomorrow night? And so we're getting together tomorrow night for coffee. Okay,
sounds good. Did you, one thing I would, just on what you told me there, and forgive me for getting into details, but again, it's for the folks who are listening into the call. One thing you said I would change the mindset on a little bit, and this is again on the item number 5 about the intentionality of the get-together. Just a very slightly different use of language, and it's in posture, and it's still done with respect, but instead of saying "Can we get together tomorrow night?" I would say when can we get together tomorrow night? So it's not "can we," because that gives an option to say no or yes. What I want to do is to give her. I mean, you're in sales, you know how this thing works, and it can be done still very nicely with a smile on your face. When can we get together? Is tomorrow night going to be? When can we get together? What time tomorrow night is going to be good for you? Something. It's a very slight nuance, but it's a good habit to get into, both for AMBIT as well as your current job. It is very subtle, and it doesn't make a huge difference, but sometimes it can make all the difference because it gives someone a way out. In the invite, we talked about, being in a hurry and this type of thing. Did you have to do anything like that?
I just waited until we were just about to leave. The kids were already getting into the car, so I couldn't dawdle for too very long. It was already hot outside. So, I waited until the very end of our time together this morning and just kind of posed it that way. So.
Right, because Catherine had she knew you were in AMBIT. We talked about it last night. She already knew why you were doing it. She obviously has her own very strong reasons for needing to do something like this as well. And
sure.
And when and again, did you say, I really want to show you this opportunity to see if it suits you, see if it's something that would suit you. It may or may not be your thing.
Right.
Did you get into that at all or not?
It may or may not be your thing. I did say that. I had talked with Michelle before I went over there, just kind of rehashing things a little bit, and so that was definitely one of the things that we talked about to give her a takeaway, and then we set the appointment for 8:00 tomorrow night. So.
Right. And again, the takeaway is important. First of all, well done for going through it again with your sponsor, with Michelle, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I've got to get on this." When you play this as a numbers game, which we don't, when it's not a numbers game, you can take your time, be patient, do it right, feel comfortable, because this Catherine may be your next national consultant. But if you messed it up or too pushy or you didn't do it right in the first place, she may not have taken a look and may not have got into it. So it's worthwhile, I believe, taking the time to get the invitation to where you're really comfortable. It makes such a difference. So that was the first thing. And secondly, more than that, is that's success. For us, a success is not necessarily someone saying yes or no, although that's obviously what we want to do. We want to have them make a decision, and obviously a positive decision. But on these calls, the purpose of these calls is to get an opportunity to show them the business presentation. And you succeeded in doing that, and you've got an appointment for tomorrow. Are you going to do it on your own?
I am, just because I've known her for so long, and we are very close friends. Michelle is at the ready, though, for me to call in a 3-way as I need to.
Yeah, and I'll be standing by as well if you just let me know what time, just in case you can't reach Michelle or whatever. I'll be available for a three-way call as well because I'm your upline too. So that's what we do. So great. So first call success. Give yourself a big check mark there, and you get a nice big gold star. Well done.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. We all need our gold stars, don't we? I remember getting them at school. They were so important to me then. They're still important to me now. My wife gives them to me when I'm a good boy, when I do the washing up, or I fill the car up with gas or whatever. I get a little gold star. It means the world to me. Okay, cool. All right, well, that was perfect. Did it feel right when you did it?
It did. That was probably one of the invites that I was the most nervous about. Not nervous. Nervous isn't the right word. But I have kind of gone over in my head 4 million different ways to really reintroduce the opportunity to her, just because we are such close friends. She knows that I was at Ambition last week. She watched my kids for a portion of that time. And so she was kind of eager to hear about, the things that we talked about, the things that I learned, the things that I'm taking away from last week. But I kind of put her off on that just a little bit and was kind of more, tell me about you, those kinds of things. So I am glad that we were able to kind of maintain some of that urgency for our meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, no question. The delaying, if you're getting someone on the phone, then I'm in a hurry, right? But if you are meeting with someone, wait until the end of that meeting, just like you did, 10 out of 10 for doing that, so that you can't get dragged into a presentation. Very, very important. And the other thing to take away from this as well, especially with really, really close friends, the takeaway is absolutely crucial, because otherwise it's awkward anyway, but it'll be really awkward with a close friend. If you're saying, you've got to do this, if you make the appointment just after an Ambition thing, you're bursting with enthusiasm, that can be infectious, and there's nothing wrong with being enthusiastic, but sometimes there's a little too much. And if you're bursting with enthusiasm, you've got to do this, oh my God, we're going to be millionaires, it's too much. And then if it's not for her, it's really awkward, and it can have an effect on the friendship. And the friendship's more important than anything else. So if you are able to say, yeah, we had a great week last week, obviously she knows your why, you know her why, love to show you what we're doing, so you can see if it would suit you as well. There's already an initial takeaway there. And Catherine, if it's not for you, that's perfectly fine. And that then maintains the friendship up at 100%. It shows you your respect for the friendship before trying to sell someone on an opportunity. It's really crucial. And again, those people who are listening on the line, I know you're relating to what I'm talking about here. Friendships and business opportunities are so difficult to manage correctly, and this is the right way to manage correctly. And if you're fairly new, the go-to is to have a nice big takeaway, and don't be attached to her liking it or not. You may show Catherine, and she may say no, that's just not for me, and you need to obviously find out, well, was there something particularly you didn't like? And she may have be really averse to that type of business and this type of thing, and it's okay. Obviously, we want to see if we can get on a three-way call to address anything that's any concerns. But if there's something major in there, you've got to be able to say, well, I remember I said we were going to look at this to see if it suits you or not. And if the timing's not right now, then maybe what we could do is maybe you could be my customer. You can see the savings that we're going to have, and maybe let's look again in 3 to 6 months, when, we've had a look and see how I'm getting on the business, and the timing may be better for you. It's such a lovely way to show the business to friends. And friends, we do want to obviously give the opportunity to friends, but we've got to do it right and manage that invitation right, because it's really awful when you do it wrong and it gets embarrassing. So, and you know what I mean, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Cool. So you did 100%. Good job. Again, just the only slight improvement I would do there is a little bit more intentional on the time to get together. Not can we get together, or would it be okay if, it's what time tomorrow can we get together. It's just a little bit more of you're turning the dial from a 7 up to a 10 for being intentional on that. Fair enough?
Got it.
Fantastic. Well done. All right. So Candace was next on my list. Is that the one you were going to talk to?
Yes. And I called her a little bit today and went more for an opinion approach, just like we discussed last night. That I really valued her opinion. I was working on a new project. I really wanted to share this with her and just to kind of get her take on that. And I'm not really certain how she's going to feel about this one way or the other, but we do have a lunch scheduled on Wednesday.
Score! Lunch on Wednesday. Again, the purpose of what we're doing on an invite, the purpose of the invite is not to get someone to join the business. And you know
right.
this, you're in sales. But again, for the people who are on the call, the purpose of the invite is not to get someone into the business. It's to get someone to look at the video. They will know if it's right for them. We'll address any concerns, but they'll know if it's right once they've watched the video. Our job right now is to get an appointment to be able to show them the video over the phone at home or face-to-face, which I like. I much prefer one-on-ones. I think you're the same. I really like one-on-ones. It's just a little bit more touchy-feely. And again, we only need, remember, we always talk about the principle that we only need to qualify 3 consultants ourselves and teach them to do the same thing. So we've got time to take the time to see someone about this business. This business is $1 million business. So why wouldn't one take the time to find a lunchtime to get together to talk about this rather than just send someone a video over the phone? Now, again, that's okay. And if someone's out of state, that's obviously what we have to do. But if we have the time and if we can get together, then let's get together either on a one-on-one or a 2-on-1. So that's excellent. So 2 for 2. Good job. Who's a clever girl?
Thank you.
You are. All right. So did you manage to get any other calls done, or were they just the only 2 then?
Those were the only 2. The others, several of them I know are out of town, so I didn't want to bother them while they were out of town, and I'll kind of hit the ground running with them tomorrow. And
our goal is to only do 2 invites a day. We can do more, but you achieved your goal, so you were perfectly okay to stop at 2 if you wanted to. So why don't we talk about getting another couple of invites in place?
Okay. I have 2 that are fairly similar, so we can kind of talk about them in tandem. Amy is a girl that I work with, and she just sent her daughter to UT Dallas. She's just started this week, and she's a single mom. She's got 2 children that are in high school, and she's kind of reinventing herself a bit. And so she is a colleague of mine, and she really has a lovely personality, but she's a little more on the shy side, and she is fairly new to town. So I think that she could potentially really network this a lot with a lot of her family back home in New York. And she's also got family in Georgia and the Carolinas as well. So anyway, that's kind of Amy's situation. Gwen is another one that she's one that when I look at her, I think you can't not do this business. Her family, she has some issues with her daughter. Right now, she's been undergoing some medical issues for probably the last 3 years or so, and they're unable to really get a firm diagnosis. And so they've been from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor, and she's unable to enroll in school because she is so ill. So being that she's over the age of 18 and not in school full time, she is not on insurance. And so they're trying to get her to a point where she's well enough to be on health insurance, but they've got all of these medical bills piling up and really no way to dig out. And so the source of their pain is different. Amy is newly divorced with 3 kids, 1 starting college, and Gwen has a child with some medical issues that she would love to be able to send to college, but until they get in the right place, they're not going to be able to do that financially. So anyway, I think financial is going to be both of their whys. So I'm interested to hear your take on how to approach both of them.
Okay, well, even though they're similar, let's take them separately. Because the wording's going to be slightly different. But obviously, you're going to give Amy a call. You've been on my mind this week. I've been meaning to give you a call. I'm just about to go into a meeting, but I've been meaning to give you a call because She's got a daughter. So her pain was she's just about to get divorced. She's in the process of getting divorced.
No,
and she's got a daughter in college.
Is newly divorced. She's newly divorced. Her daughter just started college. She just moved across country, and she's starting her life over here in Texas.
Right. Okay, so I would say, hey, I'm just about to go into a call, into a meeting, into a call, or into whatever it is. But you've been on my mind this week because I want to get together. And then I would say, by the way, what's your husband's name?
My husband?
Yeah. Chris. So I would say, Chris recently, does she know about your personal situation with Chris losing his job? Okay, cool. Yes. I would say, well, you know what happened with Chris recently. Obviously, we're back on our feet again now, but we obviously don't want that to happen again. And so what we did was we started a new project that's doing really, really well in the DFW area and up in the Northeast. And I wanted to show you what we're doing because I know, your current situation, and this may be something that would suit you and definitely help you pay for the college bills that you're going to have for your daughter. It may or may not be your thing, but I'm excited to talk to you about it because it's working really well for us, and I think it'll work really, really well for you. What are you doing on Friday at lunchtime? So that's what I would say.
Okay.
Is that kind of along the lines that you would go?
Yes.
I definitely think, because she knows you, I think she needs to, there's kind of a segue and a connection there. Because you're saying, first of all, you're in a hurry, and then number 2 on the list is having a why. And so you're bringing up your why first. Well, she knew that Chris was, lost his job for a little while. You're back on your feet again, but you don't want that to happen again. There's your why. Well, I know that you've been obviously going through a lot recently, Amy, with the divorce and with, your daughter going into school. I know you're having a similar why from a financial standpoint. Obviously, I wouldn't talk about a why with her in the invite because she won't use that as a terminology that's kind of, in-house, as it were.
Sure.
I know you're going through the same issues that we have. And I'd love to show so in your why, you said we started with a new project that's doing really well for us, growing really well in the DFW and up in New York as well, up in the Northeast. So you've created a little bit of a hook. Now, I know you're going through a lot right now as well yourself, Amy, obviously with the divorce and your daughter going into college. And I think you should take a look at what we're doing because it's working really well for us. There's the hook. So we've had your why and her why, then the hook. Now, listen, I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. Again, a nice, strong takeaway so it's comfortable. But what are you doing on Friday? I'd love to show you what we're doing. So, again, a very positive, intentional setting of time. I usually like to offer 2 times. Again, with you being on sales, about the alternative close, Friday lunchtime or with the weekend at, just after lunch on Saturday or whatever. Just 2 definite times. But that's the way I would go. I would go in a hurry, your why, you found an answer, her why, it could be an answer for her, maybe may or may not be her cup of tea, but you're really excited about it and you think it could really work for her, and then an intentional setting of the time.
Okay.
And then I would do exactly the same for Gwen, except switch out the why.
Okay.
So again, I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now. You've been on my mind, but I just wanted to talk to you because, and then I would reiterate your why. Say, does Gwen know about Chris going through that as well?
She does. I haven't really told her details about that because her plate has been very full. So sure. She knows that he's kind of been in transition, but not really sure all of the circumstances surrounding that.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with showing her pain. People respond well to humility and vulnerability, and you're lovely like that. You have you have such inner strength and posture that being vulnerable is very attractive. So I think being vulnerable and exposing your why to them. You don't have to go into too much detail, but I would say, hey, listen, I've been in a little bit of a hurry right now, but you've been on my mind. I've been meaning to give you a call. I don't know if you remember when I was telling you about. With Chris and his, losing his job, but he's obviously back on his feet right now, and we're good to go. Sorry, I've got a call coming in, so it's distracting me. And we're good to go again, but I don't want that to happen again. And so we started a project that we've been working on in recent months. I've promoted like crazy through the business. It's doing really, really well for me. And I know you're going through a lot right now, obviously with your daughter. And I know that you're having some issues with her medical bills and obviously getting her into college and this type of thing. And what I'm doing with Chris may be something that would really, really help you out. Nice little hook in there. Listen, I don't know, Gwen. I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, but it's working really, really well for Chris and I. What are you doing on Friday? I'd love to show you what we're doing. So, again, it's very similar to Amy. You're absolutely right. They are exactly the same, just different whys. But, again, starting in a hurry. I've been meaning to get in touch with you, express your why, and then the fact you've got over it with this business, express her why, and that this business may be able to help her just as this business is helping you. May or may not be your cup of tea, the takeaway, and then a nice, firm, let's get together on Friday or whenever it is, a nice intentional setting of the time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, would you agree with that?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, well, in which case, that's great. That's the only invites we need to do tonight. We'll do another couple tomorrow night as well, but I'm excited about those as well. I think you should do pretty well with that. Were there any other questions you had about what happened today and what's going on, and how, or maybe just a feeling? Does it feel better having this kind of?
It does feel better to think it out and verbalize it, and I know that that's stupid and may feel uncomfortable to some. To kind of practice your sizzle speech or whatever you want to call it, how you're going to react in that situation. But practice really does help it go smoother. And so, though you might feel silly, absolutely. Right. Though you might feel silly looking at yourself in your little visor mirror on your way over to their house and just kind of rolling it off your tongue to make it sound conversational and not contrived and weird and icky, it works. It really does. And just kind of bouncing that idea off of someone else, whether that's you or whether that's someone else in our organization, I think it's definitely helpful. And though it feels strange at the time, I think ultimately I'm going to get better results by doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you do this, the more it'll just roll off your tongue and you won't even need to rehearse it. But for right now, we want to do it in such a way that someone who joins the business can duplicate you.
Right.
I still write my invites down. I still write my own invites. I'm doing the same purge system for myself and my own business, writing the invites down just as everybody else is doing, because then it's duplicatable. You'll see me writing my invites down. Michelle will see me writing my invites down, and then your team will do what you do. So, it is a little weird, but better to be weird before you're talking to them than during the time you're talking to them.
Right.
So that's great. That's great insight. That's absolutely spot on. So, Christy, if you would, make sure you write down these invites, which I know you're going to. Those of you who are listening to the call, remember the 5 steps we went through, initially being in a hurry, the why, theirs and yours, or just theirs, or just yours, but the why, having a hook, being excited about it, the takeaway, and then being intentional. And if you remember that as you're constructing an invite, then you'll always be able to construct your own invite. But again, you should always work with an accountability partner who's going to help you put those together. But awesome. Well, I couldn't be more happy with the first day, 100%. You are such a good girl. If I was there, I'd stick a little gold star on your book.
Oh, thanks.
All right, my lovely. So if all's good, then I'll let you go. And I'll be speaking to you again tomorrow. If you need me for any 3-way help tomorrow with Catherine or Candace, obviously I'll be available for you.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks so much.
All right, lovely. Speak to you tomorrow night.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye now.